Welcome, everybody. Thank you so much with all the technical glitches. Appreciate you guys all coming here. Actually, at the very end, me and Anahi were like, all right, we have to do a text message blast and an email blast because we were getting emails and like, where's the link and where's this? And yeah, guess what? I didn't even have it, and I'm the host. So I don't know where it went in tech world, but it decided to not be on my computer. So this is part of business that I always tell people is that there's always going to be hiccups in life. There's always going to be something that goes and is not perfect. And even when things are not perfect, to just push through it. Because that's always the number one thing when you're co-creating any type of business is to make sure that the imperfections, we laugh about it, we joke about it, and we move on. And it's part of life. I am Bina Bendel. I have three beautiful children. They are not home right now and they will be home in about 45 minutes. So they will automatically come on my live and they will love to say hi to everybody. We try to keep them downstairs as much as we can, but with them being autistic and ADHD, they have sometimes no boundary issues, lack of boundaries in our house. So that is that. I actually, if you guys want, we will send you guys the slide deck after this call is done. So that way you don't have to worry so much about frantically writing things down. And so for a lot of you guys, there's a lot of new people on my call, is that this is a very interactive presentation. It's really about how to really build a sustainable business. If you have questions, ask me questions. It's very interactive. Jennifer is actually already in CNCA. So if anyone has questions, come up. Usually we have majority of all my members come on, but today I think they all have the computer glitch because I don't think it was on their calendar. Welcome. And just really quickly, what is the one thing that you guys want to get out of from today's workshop as I pull up the slide deck? What's one thing that you guys would like to hear or see?
I just want to, it's Michelle, sorry.
Okay, yeah.
So back in November of 2023, I opened my business and then I quickly learned like I had a photography business that did very well, but it's so much different from a healthcare perspective. I got really confused. I got really broke because I was paying to learn how to do the Practice Better app where, you had all the bells and whistles. And I just threw all this, and I just felt so lost because I'm a slow learner with computers and technology. So just to have a good foundation of where to start and the right process to do things without going broke in the beginning.
Yeah. Yeah. First of all, Practice Better is a beast.
Yeah, it really is.
It's a big beast. Any type of CRM levels is actually really challenging. And it's also in other words, when you first start, you don't need any of it. Let's just put it that way. If you have Google
Right.
Workplace, you can do everything through Google Workplace. Yeah.
Okay.
So a lot of the times when people are utilizing that, if you were to spend any type of money, I tell people not just because I'm a coach, but hire a coach, whether it's me or somebody else. So you're not
Um,
redoing somebody else's mistakes,
right.
and you're going through a process faster, which I'm also going to talk today in this particular slide deck anyways, is the framework that I teach in Corporate Nurse Coach Accelerator. And I purposely made this particular accelerator one to teach nurses and or nurse coaches or anyone in healthcare business how to multiply their business 10xing it in a short period of time and the correct systems you need to have a sustainable business. Because I think what's
Right.
happening is the biggest gap I've noticed is people like to have these quick action hits. It's like I always call it the one hit wonders, right? You get these big clients and you get 10 clients and you get 15. And I was like, oh, I'm doing great. But they don't have the systems behind it to actually
To
keep it
support it.
sustainable. And then when you're
Yep.
growing, it falls apart. Or what happens is you have a huge momentum and then life occurs and then it falls apart because you don't have the correct the foundation of what we're actually going to be talking about in this presentation. So this will really be beneficial. Main thing I always tell people is you have to have the passion, which we all are nurses. We all have the passion to help and want to do things and move. It's always the how to. How do I get there? How do I get to the next spot? And that's also what we're going to be covering as well. So I'm going to share my slide. Hopefully technology will not fail on me anymore. Annie, I'm going to make you co-host just in case. Maybe I won't. I'll just pray because it's not letting me. um, I don't know. Okay. All right. I made you co-host just in case, and then let's kind of, and you guys, in between the presentation, please feel free to go off mute and ask questions. I actually love questions. I thrive on it, and it's the best way to learn. Number one, it's the best, and there's no stupid questions here. What you want to ask is what you want to ask. I was not good in technology when I first started the business. I always tell people, and real talk, I always tell my husband I can crash a computer faster than saving a life. That was my motto. I would break everything, things would go wrong. I didn't know how to work. I didn't even know how to click on Canva. I mean, we did Epic, right? We were able to charter. We were able to do things. If you give me an Epic or a CRM, I was good in that. If you gave me a laptop, I had no idea what I was doing with it. I would be able to crash it faster than I can save a life. So I understand technology is a huge, huge battle, and I'm not tech savvy. So if I can handle it, everyone can. And it's a learning curve. And that's all it is. It's a huge learning curve. So today we're going to be talking about how to build a profitable business for nurse coaches, healthcare providers, and or entrepreneurs. Just a little bit before we begin, my name is Bina, just like I stated. I have now built, this would be my fourth business that I have built or relaunching of the Corporate Nurse Coach Accelerator. I have a B2B business side, which I have made my own employee assistant program, which I'm embedded into 7 or 8 different large organizations nationwide. And then I'm also a huge advocate for parents with special needs, and secretly, now not a secret so much anymore, but I'm going to be developing an app for parents with special needs that's going to be hopefully launching in the next 2 or 3 months, which I'm really, really excited about. So before we begin, I really want to talk about strategy, but I want you to really reflect what is, and you guys can talk this out loud. Like, what are some of the main reasons you want to leave bedside, or you want a change in scenario? I don't want to say leaving bedside because I really do believe some nurses need to stay at bedside. But what are some of your reasons of like, I just don't want to do that. I need to change. Something else is happening. Like, what's one of the reasons why you guys want to start your own business? Yeah. Any ideas? Or you can comment.
Yeah, I want to make an impact on a larger scale.
Mm,
Because I feel like there's just so much still left in me. And a lot of things or gifts or ideas that are not yet been tapped quite yet. And I love bedside, it's great, but post COVID, I've been a little bit burnt out with
mm,
it. And I kind
mhm.
of feel like now I'm starting to see it more as a task rather than being impactful just because I'm just so overloaded all the time at bedside. So I feel
Yeah.
like I don't have like that creative outlet or that ability to really be like love the people, yes, but also find other ways to be creative in supporting our communities.
Yeah. I love that. Anyone else?
Sure. I know for me, the reason I started was because I was tired of running other people's businesses and working hard for other people and running into nepotism or
Yeah.
or into any of those obstacles that can really affect things. And I just said, I'm ready to go and build my own and not worry about everybody else. So that's what made me want to start.
Yeah. That's solid. Oh, anyone else?
I'm
Sure,
Go ahead.
good.
I think
That's
I,
okay. Go ahead, Christy.
I'm really excited I really want to have a future where I can choose when I work and how much. And I know that really the only way to do that in a sustainable way and realistic for me is to have my own business and
mhm.
to be able to have that freedom and make money.
Yeah. No, I like that. Tracy, I heard your voice.
Yeah, so I think that I'm a 27-year nurse at this point, and I've suffered from burnout for a long time. I actually left the bedside for a while, but I really felt like we were just patching holes and putting out fires, and there had to be something more that we could do to help people. And so it wasn't feeling fulfilling for me anymore. And then add that my body just would not tolerate it. The stress level was too high, and I was having a lot of physical and mental health issues myself.
Yeah.
And I really want to have the freedom to spend more time with my family also in a better place mentally rather than just being so exhausted I can't participate. And that's a real big driver behind why I would really like to have a successful business.
Awesome. I like that. There's a common theme here that I'm hearing from all of you is that freedom, what it looks like, right? But in that, freedom looks different for everybody. So, what does freedom really mean for all of you? And this is something that I want you to self reflect on. Is it financial freedom, emotional freedom, burnout, debt, survival mode? Because in reality, when we talk about like a global impact, right? We want to do something that's globally impactful, and we all want to do something that gives us freedom from something. Because as much as I love being at bedside, I was an ER nurse for 20 years. I loved it. I loved the thrive. I loved the unexpected. I loved the high energy, but it did feel like golden chains. It felt like I was tied to them, right? If I wanted extra money, yeah, I was able to make up shifts or but I also, and if I were to have to make up those shifts, it was also came with the tie of like, well, I'm going to be really shit tired the next day or the next couple of days, right? If I wanted to take a vacation, I have to do it a year in advance, at least at Kaiser where I used to work. And so I would go and get my bid in, correct? And then all of a sudden I get say I ask for 5 days and the one day in the middle gets denied. I'm like, what type of freaking vacation is this? And in order to get that one day approved, I would have to ask 5 different nurses, 10 different nurses, and then possibly being able to work 2 weeks prior to that shift, or when I get back from vacation, I'm working another like 10 days in a row. Which again, when I had a great vacation, but I came home tired, or I went into my vacation super tired because I was working and trying to fulfill that. And not that I didn't say that I was like was a little sick some of those days because hey, you if you weren't able to get your shift covered, you still went on. I don't know about you guys, but I can state this legally. I went on vacation because I quit. I went and I just called in and said I'm not coming in because it's that survival mode or that guilt people would give you, right? It's like, oh, you're calling in sick again. I know you're on vacation. It's kind of like, well, you didn't give me my vacation. What'd you expect me to do? You gave me the Monday, Tuesday, or the Saturday, Sunday, but you didn't give me my Friday off. How am I supposed to, what am I supposed to do? Fly back and fly back out? Like, it doesn't make any sense. Really want to understand for you guys to really self reflect. What does freedom mean to you? For me, the freedom for me was not necessarily the burnout depth or the survival mode. For me, the freedom that meant for me was I was able to do what I want when I wanted. That was what the freedom, and that was the drawing lawn for me because I didn't have childcare. I had childcare issues back then too. So I had to become and had to figure it out. So here's some of the hard truths, and I love them, but the hard truth, okay? From childhood, we are conditioned to depend on systems. Another reason why healthcare systems are keeping nurses at bedside, stating that they love you, yada, 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 we'll give you this. Yeah, you guys all hear that. But we've been trained since kindergarten that we had to go to school. We have to find a job. We have bosses. We have paychecks. We were always reliant on an authoritarian system, right? If you're bad in school, you go to the principal's office. If you don't show up to work, it reflects your paychecks. There was always some sort of negative notation around these systems. Do you guys hear me on that? Does that make sense? So, when you are choosing entrepreneurship, I guys want you to hear this, and this is hard to hear. No one's coming to rescue you. There's no boss for your income anymore. There's no paycheck to paycheck. And there's no more fear of being tied down in debt or instability. And that is the most scariest thing to do, right? That's scary as hell for a lot of people. But it's also the most empowering because you are learning to not be tied down to these systems that kept us going down. When you're in entrepreneurship, the best part is you got to make your own choices. You got to make your own schedule. You got to make whatever you choose to make. And that part without somebody telling you, hey, guess what? You didn't do that blood culture correctly. Or, hey, you know what? You got dinged for something, but yet you did everything else right. But that one blood culture turned out dirty. And I was like, dude, I scrubbed that shit for 30 seconds. I don't know what's happening. It's like, okay, maybe it was the wrong batch. Who knows? Anyways, I can get into that further. But there's always something negative that comes with that. It's not always an empowering situation. In entrepreneurship, it's very empowering, but it's also be scary at the same time. So here's the thing. The time is now. This is for all of you that commented on what you are doing and why you want to leave bedside. You want to make this your moment. 2026 is going to be a really good year because it's the year of the horse. It's going to have quantum leaps. There's a lot of different stuff. A lot of people last year had a lot of shedding and it was very challenging for a lot of people. But we really want you to create a purpose and you want to build something that aligns with you. So if you are being told, the number one thing I tell every single one of my clients is you have to have a purpose. What is your global impact? And you don't need the permission. You just need to make a choice. What's your global impact? I know for me, it's I want to help parents with special needs. That's my global impact at the very core to who I am. So, if you're chasing a very good profitable business, the number one thing is the why. What is it that if something were to happen to you today, what will be your legacy? What do you want to leave behind? And if you follow the steps that we're going to share in these next couple of slides, it will stay consistent. That's the big key here, right? You will build a profitable business. You guys hear that? It is that easy. It's your why and being consistent. Now, when people are talking about the why, this is where you want to really develop, who your audience is. And things that can be repetition, like it's reputable. You want to be able to repeat it over and over. That is why consistency will beat perfection every single time. Number 2, take the messy action. Okay. The number one thing that I always, and Jennifer can say this all the time, she can agree. I will tell you, take the messy action. If you actually take the action, if you're scared, right? And you're like, oh my God, I don't know how to do this. I don't know if this company is going to say yes or no. Just take the messy action because action makers are money makers. Hear that. Action takers are money makers because you can always find a coach to help you clean it up. Like somebody like me, if you went up there and said, hey, actually, I'm going to just use Jennifer because she's on this call. She came to me, actually, like legit, she came to me and she says, hey, I have this big idea. I have this beautiful website and I don't know what to do with it. And now just recently on this call, she's like, I actually have a more focused idea if she's working with legal nurse consultants before they go on depositions. And I was like, dude, that's brilliant. And it still helps with her global impact of helping sex traffickers and all those nasty stuff that I'm not going to repeat, but all those ugly things that come up. But you got to take the messy action. It does not have to be perfect. And a lot of the times, clarity comes after, like with this call, this new system that I'm doing. Guess what? I'm not doing it again. It did not work. It did not work. But I was told, hey, do this instead of me following my gut of doing it the way I normally would do it. I tried something. Thank you for everyone who still showed up. But I'm sure other people are going to look for the Zoom link and not get it. And that's okay. because it was just a messy action. So let's talk about actually what builds a profitable business. So in CNCA, I teach 5 core pillars, and everything you need to know lives right here. Okay. So first, I think what's on the next one. Here are the 5 core. The first one is clarity. And I'm going to go through each slide or each pillar, but the first one is clarity. You need to know who your audience is and where are they? Because that is where you want to be. So if you are talking about a swimming pool and you're talking about swimming lessons, you will have a very hard time selling your business in a desert. Correct? You will be like the road race runner. You're starting around and the coyote's running and chasing and chasing and chasing, and you feel like you're going in circles because you are, because there's no swimming in the desert. So clarity is key. So if you are wanting to work with parents with special needs, I'm going to use mine, right? Where are these parents with special needs? Can anyone honestly answer? I know there's one person on this call that can answer that. Yeah, Jen.
Yeah, they're everywhere.
Well, that, and yes, and
The school systems, you can start there.
we're in the cars.
Yeah.
And you know, majority of us are in the car. We're dropping kids off at school. We're at pediatricians' offices. We are at OT, PT, speech. Like we're in clinics, correct? So if I know that, then guess what? I'm going to start targeting those areas. Start going out. I'm not going to be that lurker, weird girl that goes up and knocking on your door. Actually, I would do that.
I
Clarity.
can see that. I can see that.
Who said that?
Jackie.
Jackie, yes. See, Jackie, you know me. You can see that on me, yes. And me and Jackie both have a common theme too, is both of our child is autistic as well. And so, yeah, it's the truth, right? So you want to know wherever your people are. And a lot of people are like, well, I want to help nurses with burnout. Great. You're not going to find them in the hospitals because the ones that are still working at the hospitals, they're in denial or they want to leave and they want to do things. And there's a lot of other stuff that's happening with that. So the second pillar, curiosity. Get curious with what to do next. What else can you do? What is the out of the box thinking that we want to have with that? The third is courage. Courage is great. Imposter syndrome sucks. It's there. And guess what? We all live in it. Every single person will always have imposter syndrome. The number one thing to get rid of imposter syndrome, does anybody know the answer to that?
Do it scared.
That too. Yes.
Get in the balls.
Huh?
Kick it in the balls.
Yeah. Do an action. Get out of your routine. Do an action. Move it with action. All of us knows that the best time when we're nervous or scared, what's the first thing we do when we're scared? Naturally. What does our bodies do? Run. Yeah. We're not right. You see how naturally when we are scared, we have a movement, a body movement, a thought movement. We run, we duck, we hide. It's a movement, correct? Our body naturally is going to protect us. So when we are scared or comes in business, the only true way to get over it is to do something in motion to that. And yes, do it scared because your body is going to naturally say, hey, you're not good enough. Who's going to listen to you? Blah, blah, blah. Why are you posting? Your hair's not right. My hair's sticking up like a pony. You're going to hear all these negative things because your body is trying to protect you per se. Fourth, have a conversation. If people don't know about your business, you don't have a business. You have a hobby. If you don't talk about it, and I'm saying everybody and anything that comes up, this is also where a lot of family members will be like, oh, here she is talking about her business. It's like, fucking shit. Don't you talk about your work all day long? Why can't I talk about my business? What the hell's wrong with you? It's just a different angle, correct? Different thing, but it's still the same. Conversate. And for those ones that are like, I don't want to hear it, cut them out. Sorry to say that. They're not your friends. They're not your family. Cut them out. They're not with you for the actual sustainable business. Now, if they can go pay $1,000 for Taylor Swift, they have 5 minutes to listen to you. And the fifth one, authenticity. You guys, don't hide behind yourself. Don't hide behind it. So clarity is going to create confidence. Because if you have a very clear offer and you have a very clear solution and you got steps in between to get you from A to Z, which I have a very specific program or a very specific method that I use to really get your clarity in the Corporate Nurse Coach Accelerator. I have a rainbow method, which challenges a lot of people. And I do this on everyone's first deep dive with me. We talk about this, but we really get clear with what is the one problem you're going to solve. People come to me all the time and they go, I know what I want to do. I said, that's great. That's all. Those are all solved. Those are all your solutions. But what's the one problem you're solving? I don't know. Okay. Well, we have a problem. So we have to be clear with what you want to do. And you focus on that one offer first. Everybody wants to do the whole, I call it the beauty pageant, world peace method. Like, what's your answer? World peace. What's your answer? World peace. We were watching Miss Congeniality just the other day with my daughter. So world peace is still stuck in my head. But it's still, that's their offer for everything, correct? But what does, in true fairness, do anybody really knows what a beauty pageant winner actually has to do? There's a lot of humanitarian, there's a lot of, they actually have to do a lot, actually, if they win. They're obligated by contract to appear and do things and showcase, and there's a whole contract behind it. But they work very hard to be on that pageant. Now, do you think that beauty pageant of Miss USA or Miss Universe, do you think that's their first pageant? Absolutely not. So what makes you think that your business is going to create after like 2 or 3 weeks and you're like, yeah, I'm going to go get my thing. And everyone's like, oh, I can't do this no more. It takes time. And you have to have the solid foundation in order for it to be successful. Confusing messaging confuses buyers. How many of you have read certain things and you're like, I don't even know what they said. I don't understand. What was the point of that? How many of you have had like a text message blast or someone trying to sell you shit on Facebook or Instagram or LinkedIn, those spammers, I call them spammers. Right? How many of you have gotten those weird or even the calls, random calls that you get now, right? And you're just like, I don't even know what you're selling anymore. Messaging is clear. The only way your messaging is going to be clear is if your offer and you know what you're doing is clear. Other than that, it's just like you're word vomiting. So it's just like with my clarity with the Corporate Nurse Coach Accelerator. I know I can build a profitable business for all of you ladies or gentlemen who's on this call. I know that I can say that with confidence. Not because I have life experience, it's because I have the systems behind it. Curiosity. Your job is not to convene, it's not to convince. I don't need to convince people to buy from me. I don't need to convince people what it is. How I talk and what I do, and even for all of you on this call today, right? You were curious about something that I mentioned in one of my messaging to be like, yeah, I want to learn more. I want to know what Bina's doing. How many of you have had that a little bit today to get you on this call? Yeah? There's something. Yeah. So your job is not to truly solve everything from all your marketing, right? It's to spark curiosity. It's to plant those seeds for them to go, let me go back. Wait, what? How do we come in? What's that conversation? When me and Jackie were having a conversation a couple of weeks ago, we both just felt like we were two like old souls talking for a while. Because it's inviting, it's conversational, it's not pressure. Curiosity opens doors. Okay? If you're curious and you ask questions, hey, you know what, Tracy, I'm really curious about what you've been doing recently. I'd like to learn more. How many of you would respond to that? As opposed to, hey, Tracy, I heard you had a very successful business. Can you tell me how to do it? Tracy's going to look at you like, no. Tracy would be more acceptable if she says, hey, I'm curious about what you've done over the past couple of years. And I'm just really curious about what was the process like? What changed for you? What was something that ignite you to be able to create 2 or 3 businesses while you have kids that were under, I think my kids were under 5 at that point. That's something I would be able to answer. It doesn't feel salesy, but it gets the person on the call, and it gets you, because you want to get somebody who's in higher authority. Here's the trick. If you get them to talk about themselves, they're going to want to talk to you. That's the trick.
Right.
Yeah. Courage. You want to choose, courage is choosing action over comfort. Be willing to be uncomfortable. Say the thing. Authenticity is really where this kind of comes in on who you are today, not who you were yesterday, because yesterday's already the past. 5 minutes ago was already the past. If you stay in the present moment and stay local to what you're doing now, the confidence will just shine through, because you're not worrying about what's going to happen in the next 20, 30, 40 minutes. And then also just knowing that, hey, I have to meet the CEO in a couple hours, and you're just like, okay, I'm going to go do my hair, I'm going to do my makeup. And in reality, all you got to do is just be present. But you're so scared because of the title of I'm talking to a CEO. Because you're more scared of the title than the person. Because all of us nurses has gone into bedside or at bedside. We all talk to random strangers every single day. And we're damn good at it. One thing nurses are good at is walking into the room and saying, hi, I'm Bina. I'm going to be your nurse today. How can I help you? Correct? So if we take that same bedside nature and remove the title, you're just being a nurse. And the courage will automatically come in because we've been doing it for so long and it's on repetition. It's ingrained in all of our bloods. And show up like that. Conversation. Tell people what you're doing. And tell everybody and anybody. Come from a serve first mentality. If people ask me, how can I help? How can I do this? If anyone even was to ask me, Bina, can I have 5 minutes of your time? I really want to know how you got that first $500,000 contract. Great, let's have a conversation. You know, there's no gatekeeping. I think that's the other thing with conversations is people are worried about like, oh my God, they're going to steal my idea. Great, let them. It's IP. If you didn't trademark it, it's all common knowledge anyways. It's not a race. It's not a matter of like, oh my God, they're gonna steal clients or we're gonna come here. A lot of nurses have that, especially in the nurse coaching world and comes in. There's a lot of that negative disparity around for whatever reason. There's a billion people out there, you guys, and there's a billion companies. All you need to do is serve 100, and if you serve 100 at 5K, I don't know what that math is. What's 1,000 times 100? 5,000 times 100. Let me do the math. Hold on.
50,000.
Huh? This is me at real.
50,000.
This is me in real life talking now. Okay. Times 100.
100.
Yeah, that's $500,000. $500,000. Swear that was easier in my head, but that's okay. But do you see how like you just have to be you? The silliness, the imperfectionist. But if you had a $5,000 offer and you only focus on 100 people and stuck in your lane and stayed in, if you're staying out of the desert, if you're going to swim class, and if you're by the beach, that's what swimming's about. You can find 100 people. Correct? Does not seem very challenging. Am I correct now? How many of you are with me? That does not seem challenging.
No.
When you make it challenging and you go to the desert to find swimmers, and then you're wondering, why is not my business working? I'm talking to everybody. Because there's no fucking swimming pool. Like you got to drag them to your offer. So now you're pulling your energy, pulling it. You got to get them on the plane. You got to get them on wherever the hell you go. And then you get there and then you're exhausted. you're fully exhausted. Because what you state and you're like, I can solve this problem, I can teach you how to swim. But if you don't have a swimming pool to teach, there's a big problem. So then forget the desert. Go by the beach. Go near a lake. Go by a river. Go wherever water is sitting. I don't care where. That's where your people are going to be. Now, if you go down that particular area, and if you're on a beach and you're like, hey, I can teach 100 people how to become a lifeguard, how many of you can think and sell that in like 5 days? Real talk. You can sell that in 5 days. If you're a good swimmer, you went around saying, hey, I'm teaching you how to be a lifeguard. I open up these 5 classes. You can get 50 people in a class. Bam. Your 100 people is done. If you charge 5,000, you can do that in 5 days. Because you have your audience, you have the conversation, and you have the ocean. And you got people who want to swim in the ocean to become a lifeguard. Right? That is where you really want to make sure when we are in coaching world, who is your target audience and where are they? You want them to feel your passion. You want them to buy from you, not because it's a choice. It's because they're like, wow, okay, well, she made it sound easy. And in all fairness, y'all, it is really this easy. It's legit this easy. Ask Jennifer. She's been in my program for a couple of months now. It's legit this easy. And this is what we do in Corporate Nurse Coach Accelerator is we break it down so it's simple, it's easy, and you're able to have it with grace. Because if you just do that and repeat this life course, this life guide course, and you do that, say you did 100 people in 1 week, and then 2 weeks or a month later, you do it again, you repeat it, right? At $5,000 a piece. Now every 2 months, you're making $500,000. Because it's repeatable, it's the same offer, same location, consistency, and there you go. In less than 2 months, you've made $1 million.
Yay.
Yeah. A lot of times people, they make it more complicated than what it is. And the more time you talk about it, the better it becomes. Authenticity is your superpower. Your story is your superpower. Be you. Be vulnerable. Don't share your story. And if people don't want to listen to you, then fuck them and move away. They're not your people. It's like what's that song? Thank You Next by Ariana Grande, right? It's like, but thank you, next. Move on. We don't have time to waste on people who don't want to be there. If you're trying to force them into do this and blah, 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 I don't have energy. I don't have energy for that. You want to be with people who want to be in your genius. And why share your why. My why, everyone knows. A lot of people, even on social media, they'll see me on presence. Everybody knows my kids are my passion. It's the whole reason why I had to quit my job. The whole reason why I built my employee assistant program. It's the whole reason why I even built Corporate Nurse Coach Accelerator. Is so other people can have the same financial freedom or the same freedom that I've co-created. But the number one thing I want to tell people is people like, I don't know how to do marketing and I don't know how to do sales. How many of you can agree to that? Guess what? You already know it. It's by being you. There is no magic script. And marketing, no, you can go on a marketing course and guess what they're going to tell you? The rule of psychology. Don't bullshit. That's the number one thing. If you're able to go in, it's not like car salesman, right? Our van broke down recently and we had to take it to the car dealership. And my husband walks in, they didn't say anything to him. Even though I don't know why, but they didn't say anything to him. I walk in, they're like, oh, ma'am, do you need a car? And I'm like, why? I was like, my van's here. They go, oh, but do you want to trade it in? Do you want this? And I said, no, I don't. I said, my husband just walked in there. How come you guys didn't talk to him? Oh, he's a male. I'm like, and? They're like, well, then rude awakening. I told him, I'm like, well, that's funny. He's the male, but I have the money. So, bye. And I walked off. So you want to be authentically you. Because if somebody wants to buy from you, they're going to find you. Does that make sense? You don't go, at least when I go car shopping, we're not going car shopping. Our car just ended up needing a new battery because my husband decided not to put a battery. Anyways, a little back to husband problem here. But when we were to go car shopping, you want to go from dealership to dealership to dealership to dealership, correct? You want to shop around. You're looking for what suits you, but you know you're going to pay money. You have to pay something. And the minute you walk it off, it's yours. But the main thing with that is that when you are closing or when you are selling a product, you got to give them something that they need, like a car, like gasoline, like now apparently electricity with all these electrical cars. You want to give them something that they need. And what are you solving with that? Does that make sense? But you can sell, but it all goes back down to the clarity. What are you solving? The other thing that I teach in the Corporate Nurse Coach Accelerator is the one-to-many workshop. If I do one-to-ones, I do have one-to-one offering. I don't advertise it because the one-to-one offering, to be honest with you, it sells out and people just come to me. They go, I don't want group. I want to work with you one-to-one. I don't have to advertise it anymore. So those ones fill up naturally. But when I come in, if I had to do a one-to-one offer, this is what happened to me in the collective. When I had to find my six pro bonos, and I was like, oh hell no, I gotta do this every single time. For how many days to how many come up and to get how many clients? I was like, oh no, this ain't gonna work. This is not gonna work for me. I'm gonna pull my hair out. That's when I realized the one-to-many model is a better way to do it. That's how you scale. That's how I developed I figured out there was a gap in the EAP system and I developed my own EAP. Again, a one-to-many model. And examples of this is workshops, just like this. Give free advice out. Don't be scared to give free advice. I'm not giving you guys anything more or less besides minus my coaching and feedback in this particular presentation. Jennifer, is that true? Like, I'm not. Like, there's nothing here that I'm not stating. The only difference in the paid version is you get the feedback, we get the community, and you move faster because I don't let you stand still so you don't get scared. Lunch and learns. I teach you guys how to do lunch and learns. Again, another one-to-many. In-person events. In-person events are great. They can be free. It can be a coffee shop. It can be anything. An in-person event is just like, hey, we're meeting together. Doesn't have to be paid if you don't want it to be. Initially, all I want you to do in general with the one-to-many model is the connections. Connections. It's the connections that turn into conversations. It's the conversations that turn into clients. You do not need anything else fancy. Choose a date, choose a time, fill the room, host the event, and follow up the conversations. Momentum comes with implementations, and momentum comes with the correct strategy. And I say strategy, I mean more of the clarity of like, what do you want to present? Now, what you present, yes, there is a system behind it, but that is where my rainbow method comes out. Like it's a beautiful thing. So it's why I trademarked it because I like it. I like the name. The number one thing is you got to trust the process. If you don't hear anything else, hear this. And I repeated this multiple times. Don't overcomplicate things. Stay out of your head and know and trust that you already have the skills from what you've been doing at bedside. How many of us has convinced grandmas that they had to put an NG down their throat? And they're like, I'm not putting an NG down my throat. You put it down there. How many of us had to convince them? Or how many of us had to convince a guy that we're putting a Foley catheter in him? And they're like, no, you're not. And I'm like, yeah, we are. They're like, no, we're not. Yeah, we are. Guess what? You guys all have negotiation skills. Because guess what? You always win, correct? Nurses always win. Or we medicate, but we can't medicate in the real world. But in general, we win, right? So just know you have to utilize what you do at bedside and turn it into the business model. And if you follow these steps and stay consistent, you will build a profitable business. Any questions? I think that's my last slide. Maybe. Oh no, I have one more. No, that's it. Hold on one second. I have to turn my light on. Yeah. Okay. I didn't anticipate it to go that dark real quick. No? Any questions you guys have?
Bina, there's a question in the comment.
Ah,
It's the last one.
when do when should you know when to pivot versus close? Ava, do you mind asking that in a different way? When should you know when to pivot
Yeah,
versus
so like
Mhm.
so if you have a business like you're currently like functioning in or you're growing or
Yeah.
you're trying to scale, right? So I've been in this business for like a while now. And
Okay.
so my question has been like, okay, some of the things my messages have hit, sometimes they haven't hit. So it's like, okay, when should you know when to pivot your message or when to pivot what you're trying to do? So maybe you're trying to do too many things at one time and you have to do one thing, or maybe you need to pivot out of one area, still in the same business, but into a different area in order to like scale or make the money because you're figuring out like this particular thing is not working. So when
Can you
you
give me an
know, like,
example? Can you give me a
so,
specific example?
um, duh, 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 duh. For example, like, okay, so if you're doing like a home care business, right? And you're doing home care, basic home care and supportive services
Mhm.
for people with disabilities, right?
Okay.
And it seems like you're not getting people with disabilities, but you're getting a lot of seniors. So you're just like, okay, but you're getting maybe more seniors, but at the same time, there's still a market for that people of disability, like with disabilities. So is it like, okay, do I pivot completely out of that into seniors and close the support services for disabilities down
No,
and just focus on seniors?
no.
Or do I find a way to like pivot into saying, okay, what are other ways that I can offer their services in that direction? If that makes
So there's
sense. I don't know.
yes. And the reason why I asked you to clarify this is because, and do you mind if I coach you for a minute?
Yeah, no problem.
Do you see how hard it was for you to tell me what you were doing? Did you guys all understood exactly what she was talking about? No. So what I heard, and correct me if I'm wrong, what I heard from you is you have a business in home care, home health type of industry, correct?
Yes.
And you are working towards seniors with a disability. That is your main offer, but you're getting a lot of seniors without a disability, correct?
Oh, sorry. Yeah, we'll put it that way. Yes.
Is that it's a yes or no?
Yes. We'll just say yes.
Okay. So with that, if you're still making a decent amount, are you still bringing in income from that?
Not enough to break even, no. And that's where my problem is. It's like, okay, maybe if I need to shift all the way out of it, it's some, but it's not enough to like justify certain things.
Yeah. Your message, it's your messaging because it's still, and what do you do with these seniors with disabilities? Like, are you going to clinics or what are you doing with them? What are you solving with them?
So I'm supporting them, like giving them independence at home for as long as possible. And
Okay.
then giving them accessibility to like their appointments, activities, and just better quality of life outside of like community living or
Okay.
like,
And who pays
yeah,
for your services?
either they do or their guardians or children do.
Okay. Okay. All right. So there's two things. I wouldn't change anything if it's working, first of all. If you're focusing on seniors with disabilities, but you're getting regular seniors into it, that's fine. I wouldn't pivot that.
Okay.
Because if you're still bringing in income, and if that's still where your passion is, it's like for me, an example, I help parents with special needs, but I have a lot of parents that come to me with challenging behaviors. I'm not going to, and if I had a lot more parents that came with me with challenging behaviors, I'm not going to stop serving the parents with special needs. Does that make sense?
Yes, makes sense.
Or say if I'm a fitness coach person and I work with women to balance their hormones and lose weight. I'll never do that because I can't lose my weight and my hormones are totally imbalanced. But just saying. But say I got a lot of males that I've been attracted to, I wouldn't change my offer just because of what's being more attracted to. It's just a season of what that is. Maybe a lot more males came to me because they just wanted to lose weight or they wanted more of a feminine approach versus a masculine approach. But I wouldn't change my offer if that's my true passion.
And so should I add another offer to it or just leave it alone and just kind of ride the wave?
I'd have to go deeper with you. You know, I put Anna, put in the chat a 45-minute consult thing in there. I would have to dive deeper in that with you. Because now you're asking
Okay, sounds good.
questions that are not like high level, but I'd have to know more about your business and more about things. But do you guys all hear how these questions are they're the same questions. How many of you else have similar questions in your business? Like when to pivot, when not to pivot. I just tell people don't pivot. Put horse blinders on and keep going. Because usually if this is your passion, if Eva, right? This is you talking? I think so. If this is your passion and if that's what you're doing, all it is one clarity piece away from it being clear to who your marketing audience is. Did you guys see that with hers? It's just one clear messaging away. Now, why would we want to throw the towel down when we know it's working? We just have to fine tune it now. It's just like hearing on the static radio where you're like, I think I heard the music, but let me go the other direction. Like, nope, that's the station I wanted. We fine tune it. Or satellites, or antennas. We were used to move it around. You don't want to throw in the towel just yet. You just want to make sure that it's fine tuned. Oh, Sarah was just asking me. That was something else. Anyone else have any other questions? Thank you for that question, though. She's there. I don't know if did I lose her? She may have gone. Awesome. Okay. I think it came up. Anyone else have any other questions? Or what's one of your guys' biggest takeaways, should I ask, from this presentation? Michelle, if you're trying to talk, you're on mute.
I'm trying to find the button. It kept switching the screen.
Eh,
Chasing my tail. So for me, the whole clarity thing is important. When you mentioned something I learned in a business course when I was starting my photography business was a confused mind always says no. And that goes for your own mind as well. If you're confused about what it is you want to do, it's never going to grow. You're always going to be spinning.
yeah.
So clarity, that was my takeaway for today. I need to get a little more clear. Just some background. I turned in an immediate resignation 2 days ago at the hospice I worked at. There was a lot of dynamic things going on. I was always constantly stressed. I've been a hospice nurse over half of my career now. I've been a nurse 25 years. And it was just very, and I hate to throw the word toxic around, so overused, but it was not good for me. My mental health was suffering. When you're driving down the road and you've got two phones, you've got your phone and you've got the office, the work phone, you've got patients calling you, the office calling you, I need you to go here, I need you to go there. And then you're at the bedside and you've got somebody yelling at you and you're trying to do wound care. It reached a fever pitch the other day. They're like, go home, think about it. No, I went and turned in my timesheets with my resignation notice. Never have I ever just but I had this to fall back on.
Mm.
And I know that, and I still have my photography. There are things I can do. So I just need to get a little more clearer on as a coach where I fit in. I do believe it's end of life. I know that it's there because that's what I'm good at. I'm good at teaching. I love
Mm.
to teach.
Yeah.
So
Angela, did you at end of life too? I was like, I have
you
someone.
too, Angela?
Yeah,
No,
Angela just.
but I just had this epiphany and I don't know what it was, but there are some people who specialize in photography for stillbirths.
Yes,
What
I
about
did that.
photography for
I
end of life?
Yeah, but the thing about that is it's a very vulnerable population,
Sure.
and you have to be very careful about, it could not be something that I would advertise. Just like with the when I did babies as a photographer, um, the company, Now I Lay Me Down to Sleep, advertises it for you, but you go to like the doctors, and everybody knows me here, and they know I'm a hospice nurse, and they know that I did this. I was in Bina, I was in a networking group as a photographer. They knew that I did the babies, but you don't get paid to do it. It's volunteer work. And I think that families that want to do this seek out photographers for this. So I would have to do it in a backdoor kind of way, just because people look badly. And I know this is a me thing, but people do look badly as if you were being predatory towards the dying.
There is a
So
very
it's a
in my
consideration.
there is somebody actually in my group that teaches end of life doula, actually
Right,
in my program right now.
right.
And
I would love to do that.
she's also, what I'm saying is that what you do is very
Mhm.
niche, and what you can do is
Yeah,
very niche. You have a
right.
very beautiful niche in photography. I would
Yeah,
highly keep that. And I
right,
would integrate that if you wanted to do some sort of end of life care most notion.
right.
There's a way to still utilize both of your passions and combine it. And
And it doesn't have to be after death either. That
no,
I'm not
No,
saying
no, no,
after death.
no. I'm not either. No, I'm not either. But it's the whole predatory mentality that people have, that you're trying to take advantage of somebody that's got a terminal illness. And I've seen it. I've seen photographers that do this, and they do it in a very roundabout kind of way. They don't advertise it, because if they do, this is what they're bombarded with. I just don't want that on me.
so there's a
I'm a
way to
very
do that.
sensitive person.
Yeah. There
Mhm.
is a way
Yeah.
there is a very unique way to do that. Okay. And in the link there in the chat, I highly recommend do a one-on-one with me. That's in the chat with you here. If you can set
Right.
up a time. Anna,
Okay.
can you put the drop in the link again? Anna, can
I
you
think
drop
I
the
pulled
link
the
again?
link up because I tapped
Yeah.
on the hyperlink.
Yeah. Drop the link again. And he will drop the link again, because it's just like around parents with special needs, right? I can't sit there, like, there's a whole thing. It's very sensitive. It's very things.
Yeah.
If I say special needs, they're like, oh, they're no needs. If they have this or they come up, like, you know what I mean? There's ways around that too. So this is where my creative brain comes in, is how do we market this, or how do we state this in a very sensitive way? And how do you get the messaging across? And
Right.
how do you combine the two? Because what you're doing is beautiful. And you can make a lot of money doing it.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah,
Even if
because
it's
they're
like
heirloom type.
pictures.
They would be, heirloom type portraits. I
Right.
paint too, and I've painted portraits of people. So I don't,
Yeah.
yeah. So I'm one of
Book a call.
those creative
Book a call.
people.
There's ways to do it. There's ways to do that.
Yeah.
There's ways to come in. That's the out of the box thinking that we think about, that I do. Because
Right.
I see and I feel, I'm a big empathetic. I'm able to
Right.
feel or tap in, and you have the passion for both. You're just confused on how to put them together and then
Yeah.
market that. Yeah.
Yeah. I feel like if I'm doing one, I'm betraying the other. I'm torn. Like I've spent my whole,
There's a way
because
to
I haven't been
there's
able
a
to,
good way to honor both.
and I want both.
But there's a beautiful way to honor both. And you can call it like end of life photography.
Right.
You can call it capture the last moments. I mean, there's so
Right.
many different languages that is not going to make it sound like, oh my God, this guy's dying and I'm taking a picture of this person.
It's a very beautiful thing when it's done right, because it's a lot of times it's just the person and the family wants just the person. Sometimes it's the whole family and the individual members with this person. I've talked to a lot of people that have done it. So it can be beautiful.
It is very beautiful. And, you know, I also have another person in my group that does cancer coaching. So there's a lot of different ways to go around it. If you want to put the two together, that for me is the easy part. And then
Yeah.
all I'm missing from you is that courage piece of just,
Right.
okay, I'm going to do this. I might take some
Yeah.
slack here. Girlfriend, I got a lot of slack. I took a lot of slack from a lot of people. And honestly, just saying fuck them and do it.
That's right. That's I learned my favorite word as a photographer in my business was next.
Yes.
Once you lost them, you lost them. You're not going to get them back. So okay,
No, if you
next.
don't capture that moment, you're not going to capture the
Yeah.
moment. And there's so many people in hospice world, in different notations, in, you know, even what
Mhm.
Ava was talking about earlier, like there's so many times where people would love to capture, like I legit went to this granny turned 102. She had her birthday of 102. I can guarantee you that family would have hired you. But she's 102. So, do you see how it's like we're not always talking about death? We're talking about
The life. Yeah.
life. We're talking about life. We're talking about life moments. We're talking about those lived moments that you don't want to capture. It's just like how when people take newborn photos, I don't want to miss these newborn photos, you know? Okay.
Right.
Well, just then we just have to label it in a different way. So it's like taking the newborn method, photo method, and then translating. I'm just stating, I don't know how I would say this right now, but like old people shots. You
Yeah.
know, I don't
Senior
want to
shot.
solve them right now, but like it'll come to me, you know, at 3 in the
Senior.
morning, but you know, or in the shower. But you know what I mean? Like there's a way to go around it, and there's a huge way you can incorporate that into coaching. You can incorporate that into your packaging. This is where my true genius comes out. I'm an out
Right.
of the box thinker. Yeah.
That's why I liked watching your things because you do think out of the box. You
Yeah.
really do.
Yeah. And I don't know if you set up a time, but set up a time.
I will. Let's see if I.
Yeah, set it up now so that way we can come in because then Anna, he's on the call. She can help. And if you don't see a time, then Anna, he can help schedule a time with you too. No.
How
Jerry,
about the dates that are on their the 9th and 12th? Are those the only days you have, or can I just pick one of the others too? Because I'm looking at the calendar for January.
yeah, I have one for tomorrow and then Monday. If you need, do you need if you need something late, do you need something later, not on a Monday or Friday?
Next Friday, if I can, or
Yeah, we'll send you a message. Well,
okay.
and he will help you with that.
And
We'll
I
put it in
totally will be there.
huh?
I will definitely be there. It's a
Yeah.
lot going on this weekend for
Yeah.
photography.
Yeah. We'll make sure that, and he will open it up for you right now.
All
For
right.
you to
Thank
choose.
you.
You're welcome. Stephanie, Angela, what did you guys take away from this?
A lot. I made a lot of little notes here. But I think one of the things that you helped me like come back to and to kind of like put the picture back together again a little bit better for me is the conversations that, you know, the connections is all you're doing that bring in conversations that then flow into sales. And I think that I knew this, but I guess maybe I was trying to make it too complicated.
Don't
And
make it hard.
so, yeah, I loved that. I'm there, but there's many more wonderful little information that that I take away from this.
That's awesome. Thank you. Sherry, how about you?
I guess I'm kind of the same way. I mean, I kind of got a lot from it. Some just maybe some confirmation of what I'm doing is that I'm moving in the right direction. Like I liked when you said, I can't remember exactly what it was. It was one at the very beginning, ones like your why,
Mhm.
like, which when I looked at it as the way you presented it, I'm like, okay, this is good. I feel like I have a pretty clear why for what I'm doing. But consistency, I think, is
Mhm.
what I just need to remember, because I tend to, and I am doing it, but then I start to like doing the posting and,
Right.
trying to do all the stuff. But then I'm like, oh my gosh, why am I doing this? I'm not getting anywhere. But I've made my first post November 19th. So it
Congratulations.
hasn't even been 2 months. I mean,
And how many times have you posted after that?
I did mostly Monday, Wednesday, Friday.
Okay.
And then there's some weeks when it's like my grandson's here. And then so I don't get to post till Tuesday. And then so that I'm like, okay, do I go ahead and do Wednesday, Friday, or do I do now Thursday?
Are
So
you on Facebook or LinkedIn?
I do Facebook, LinkedIn, and then I just went ahead and did Instagram too.
Okay. Well, Facebook, you need to post every day.
Every day. Okay. I wasn't sure if I should be
LinkedIn
doing.
is where you post only 4 times a week.
Okay. LinkedIn 4 times,
Yeah.
Facebook
Every
7
day.
days a week. Okay.
7 days a week and sometimes 2 or 3 days. And I know that sounds a lot. Everyone's like, "Oh
Yes.
my God."
I
But
know.
it's because it's just there's a whole algorithm behind that.
Yeah.
And we want to make sure, that's one of the things we teach you also in this Corporate Nurse Coach Accelerator as well. Michelle,
Okay.
were you able to get that booked or did it open up?
So
I
does
see.
Instagram go along with Facebook? It's the same where you just post it 7 days?
Instagram wants to see your face now.
Okay.
Instagram likes to see the videos. They're like short videos,
Oh, okay.
and they like to see what you're doing.
Okay. And would those
Hi,
be seven
Jackie.
days a week too?
It's a little different. I always
Yeah.
tell people go with one platform in the beginning and stick with that
Okay.
platform.
Yeah, that's what Peter was saying. Do Facebook and LinkedIn.
If you're
So,
on Facebook, I would not put on LinkedIn.
oh, you wouldn't?
Unless you've mastered Facebook, I would not do double.
Okay.
Unless you're able to do unless you know you have to have a system behind it. I don't
Yeah.
want people posting just to post just because they're it's like spaghetti at the wall. You want to
Right.
post with intention.
Yeah.
There
That's how
you
my
want to make
Facebook ones
sure
are.
that what you're doing, you want to post with intention. We're not
Yeah.
just like Michelle won't take pictures of just anything. Like she's going to take a
Right.
photo with intention. Correct?
Yeah.
Right.
So
Okay.
it's very, you want to look at the same thing with Facebook, LinkedIn, any social media that you're doing. You want to
Okay.
post with intention and with a clear strategy behind it.
Okay. All right. Well, I'll kick up my Facebook and I'll drop out of LinkedIn.
Yeah. Also, set up another call with me too. It's also
Yeah.
in the chat. Set up a call
Okay.
because that will also help because it's the strategy on that when you guys know what you want to do. And Angela, remind me what you did again because I know we had a conversation before.
I have 2 businesses. One of them is a clinical research coordinator academy. And the other one is I'm a licensed financial professional. So I also provide education for the possibilities that people
World
don't
of
know about.
possibilities. Yeah, I love that. I do remember that now. I remember your face, and I'm like, I remember what we did, but I don't remember what it was. I remember people's faces very well. But yeah, Sherry, make sure you book a call with me. Do you have time either tomorrow or Monday?
Me?
Either you, both of you.
Yeah, I'm
Um,
booking right now. I'm
Perfect.
booking Monday.
Perfect.
I
And I
will.
also opened up the window, so Michelle, you can use the same link now, and you can
I,
book for
I'm
Friday.
I'm
Yes.
actually there in the Friday thing, but it's asking me what type of appointment are you looking for, and I don't know what to select.
The
There's like
accelerator one.
Accelerator.
the accelerator. Okay.
Mhm.
Everyone's accelerator. And then
Mhm.
Sherry, were
Okay,
you
cool.
able to find a time that worked?
Um, uh-oh, hang on. Allow this time. Uh-oh, where'd everybody go? Hang on. Oh, shoot. Oh, there we go. Let me see. I don't. Oh, here we go. Oh, there we go. So is it just Monday or Friday?
If you
I gotta get
reschedule,
going.
All right. Bye, Angela.
Thank you so
You're
much.
welcome.
Hi,
I
Angela.
can